And there came a day, unlike any other, when Earth's horniest podcasters were united against a common threat. That threat, of course, being the lack of an objective and universal list about something that is extremely subjective and personal. On that day, Smash Fiction Hard Choices was born, the podcast where we rank the fuckability of characters from a fictional universe and discover what lies at the throbbing heart of horniness. We'll find out the median, the zenith, and the nadir of fuckability. But really, this podcast is about the people we Hulk smashed along the way. On today's episode, we've become part of a bigger universe, a marvelously cinematic universe. That's right, we are talking about the MCU. I'm your host, Dan Mulkerin. Joining me from her Manhattan skyscraper featuring her initials on the side is Claire Mulkerin.
I can do this all day, ladies.
Reporting in from a cardboard fort in Scott Lang's attic is MeganBob.
That's my secret cap. I'm always horny.
And calling in from a jail cell in Asgard is Kit Mulkerin. And it should be noted, so we discussed earlier about the opening stingers we all wanted to take in, and I happened to mention that I had an opening stinger in my head, despite the fact that I didn't need one as the host, and Kit told me moments ago that they hadn't come up with a stinger yet and would like to take mine, and I said that they could use mine on the condition that they had to use mine regardless of what it was. So
ultimatums are the bedrock of a good marriage.
Absolutely.
You gonna drop it in the Discord?
I'm going to text it to you right now. Okay, there you go.
Let's see if I can do this without laughing. What did Thanos say to his partner after a disappointing sexual encounter? You should have gone for the head.
Aw, snap.
Oh,
snap
God.
Indeed.
Oh, you people. So good.
I like to live dangerously.
That was great.
After that little round of Infinity Stone Russian roulette, I guess, we're here to talk about the spandex-clad spectrum of fuckability that exists within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For this discussion, we are talking only about the characters that appear in the films, so no Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., no Netflix stuff, no freeform shows. We've extracted 21 characters from the films, and each of us has independently ranked these characters from most fuckable to least fuckable. We begin by going around and finding out everyone's median character, that would be the one ranked number 11. We're going to then work our way down through the bottom 10 until we reach the nadir of each list, then go back up and hear about everyone's top 10 until we reach the zenith of each list. And as we do so, everyone will offer a brief reason as to why they ranked each character the way that they did, but each of the hosts has 3 big feels interjections available, which means that any 3 entries on each list can be expanded upon into a slightly longer argument or discussion. After all the lists have been revealed, we will aggregate them to come up with a single master list, and we will also take some time to unpack the choices our friends have made, and perhaps dig a bit deeper for a few more details. But before we dive into our lists, it's important to be reminded of the definition of fuckability, and that reminder, as always, comes to us courtesy of the horny genius behind this show's creation, MeganBob.
Fuckability is inherently subjective, but it's not about what the characters necessarily look like. It's about what they fuck like. So assume that you are into the characters, that they are into you. We're looking at how good is the sex and what is the sex like.
You're not fucking their body. You're fucking their soul.
Oh, yeah.
And with that perplexing adage out of the way, let's unveil the characters we're ranking today, but we're going to start with a few honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut.
Man, I realize why are these the honorable mentions? We don't have Drax on here? Oh,
There are so many characters that are like, it's hard.
I have had in-depth text conversations with friends about Drax and how very fuckable he is.
Drax, as it turns out, not on our list of honorable mentions, but should be. Kit, why don't you start off with the first one on our list?
Spider-Man, who is not a man, so we're not going to talk about him like that. But, if I was a teenager, I'd probably say yes to a date with him.
Aww.
Cute. He's nice. Seems like a nice boy. He's trying very hard.
Next on our list of honorable mentions, we have Valkyrie, who, am I supposed to explain why she's not on the list? Because I can't see any good goddamn reason.
I think that's more than enough.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Because there's too many characters on the list, and there's the bajillion MCU movies, and we can't put everyone on the list.
That's what, 90% of these come down to. But, we just wanted to tip the hat to the most tragically excluded.
Ego? I mean, are you a size queen? Have we got the man for you? Fuck a literal planet.
We also have Proxima Midnight. I am a super sucker for all of Thanos' Black Order. I mean, what is there? What else is there to be said about Proxima Midnight?
Goth alien mommy.
Perfect. Goth alien. Like, that giant vampire woman from the new Resident Evil game?
Yes, I do.
I could not see her behind Proxima Midnight, is what I will say.
Mysterio. I didn't realize until that second Spider-Man movie that Jake Gyllenhaal is my type, apparently he needed to be an MCU villain for me to realize, one of my types is guys that look like Dan.
Shocking.
Kit, I will say this is not news to me.
I don't know why I did not realize he was attractive until he was a Spider-Man bad guy, though.
Until he put that fishbowl on his head. Next on the list, of course, and this is a real shocker as to why this character was left off, but Hawkeye.
I don't think it's that much of a shock.
No, I can only imagine. You know what? I think it's because we know he has a family, and of everyone on this list, I'm like, I think he's the one who would least want to step out. That's the only reason I can think of why he's not on our list.
I imagine he would be good at hitting that spot, though.
From across the room.
Now to someone even worse, Thanos. Look, we already have a lot of people who monologue while they fuck. We did not need one goddamn more.
Yeah. Well, we don't need an evil grimace fuck.
One ball sack is enough for most people. Don't need a second one on the chin. The last one we have on the list, I don't know how she made this cut, but I guess because I like her a lot, and I said I want her to be on the list. Darcy Lewis. We like Darcy a lot. She's like, if everybody was at a bar and you had to take somebody home, come on. Darcy.
Oh, yeah.
Darcy.
Yeah.
Darcy.
Yeah.
Just the best.
Let me tell you, if she were added to my list, she would be well above the median.
Oh, yeah.
So, pour however many is appropriate out for those and all our MCU characters that didn't quite make the cut. But now, that only emphasizes how incredibly special, unique, and, dare I say, fuckable the next 21 characters are. So let's get started and go down our list of characters we'll actually be talking about today.
Number 1, Iron Man. A suave, arrogant billionaire inventor who builds robot suits.
Number 2, Captain America, an uncompromisingly moral super soldier who was frozen during World War II and woken up in the modern day.
3, Thor, the literal god of thunder from Norse mythology.
Number 4, Hulk/Bruce Banner, an awkward, nerdy scientist who transforms into a giant green monster whenever he gets mad.
Number 5, Black Widow, a seductive former KGB assassin who now tries to atone for her dark, mysterious past.
Number 6, Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, Captain America's best friend from the 40s who was brainwashed into becoming a mindless killer with a robot arm, but now he's mostly better, has his own show, it's great.
Aww.
Loki, the Norse god of mischief, a master of illusions, and Thor's shitty brother. Yeah, we all need one, right?
Number 8, Star-Lord, a boy from Earth who was raised in space and grew up to become a wannabe space pirate with a heart of gold.
Number 9, Gamora, a ferocious green alien warrior and the adopted daughter of the mad space titan Thanos, before she turned on him and became a good guy.
Number 10, Nebula, a blue cyborg lady, Thanos' second favorite daughter, who is significantly less reformed than Gamora.
Number 11, Ultron, a peacekeeping robot built by Tony Stark that then turned evil and tried to destroy the world. Whoops.
12, Scarlet Witch, a war-torn upbringing, genetic engineering, actual chaos magic, and mountains of trauma, all in a stylish red trench coat.
Number 13, Vision, a robot who was originally built by Ultron, but then reprogrammed to be a phenomenally powerful, albeit somewhat awkward, superhero.
Number 14, Doctor Strange, a former surgeon who became the world's most powerful wizard.
15, Ant-Man, a semi-reformed thief whose high-tech suit lets him grow and shrink at will, and he has the best names for his little ants.
Number 16, Captain Marvel, a hard-headed former Air Force pilot who was endowed with phenomenal cosmic powers.
Number 17, Hela, the blade-wielding, power-hungry god of death from Norse mythology, and Thor's other evil sibling.
Number 18, Black Panther, the king of the reclusive nation of Wakanda, and also a badass superhero who dresses like a cat.
Number 19, Okoye, the head of the Dora Milaje, the Wakandan Royal Guard, a peerless warrior who values duty and tradition.
Number 20, Nick Fury, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., an old grizzled spy with an eye patch, and basically the Avengers' dad.
And finally, number 21, Phil Coulson, the easygoing and unassuming S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who helped the Avengers, well, assemble.
Well, I think we can all agree, quite a bounty of choice we have from this particular universe today. We are going to start, as we always do on Smash Fiction Presents Hard Choices, with our median, the number 11 on the list. So we'll start with Kit. Kit, who is your number 11?
Vision. I'm kind of surprised he was this high, actually. I freaking hate his color palette, but you know, I know we're trying to stick to the movies, but honestly, I can't not think of the two Marvel TV shows that have recently come out, which really fleshed out characters in a way that you don't see in the movies. Vision turned around a bit for me. You know, at least he's tall and he's sweet, so he gets to be in the median.
Claire, who's your number 11?
Thor. So, probably not the best technique in the world, maybe a little sloppy and overconfident, but given that he's a god, and given just, like, what his body looks like, the bare minimum floor for how bad Thor could be at sex is still very high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, MeganBob?
Captain America. If you can get through the facade, it's awkward and it's fun and you laugh and, like, maybe the most emotionally satisfying pillow talk of the people available.
Yeah, that's an important consideration. My number 11 is Bucky. For me, he seems like he would share a lot of the same appeal that Captain America has, but he's more willing to be, like, adventurous, you know?
Okay.
I do kind of feel like, and I think that this is what separates me from Bob, but there's a good chance that rather a lot of crying would happen at some point, which is a turnoff for me, not necessarily for other people on this call. And also, like, I don't know what it is. Bucky just strikes me as the kind of guy who doesn't shower a lot. So, like, there's kind of a ceiling for him in my sexual attraction.
But you could shower with him, Dan.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. I was just gonna say.
That's a very interesting twist on the, like, I can fix him.
He could hold you up with one fucking arm. Are you kidding me?
All right. Well, I can already tell this might be getting unpacked in the end, but let's save that for later. All right. Well, we've hit the median, and it's all downhill from here. We are into the bottom 10 and heading for the bottom. So, who is everyone's number 12? Bob, let's start with you this time.
Black Panther? Like, perfectly good, but doesn't seem super excited about it. Just kind of very polite and giving and walks you to the car.
Yeah.
And you both say you'll text, but you both know you're lying about it. No one's texting anyone.
Well, I feel like the question is like, is your phone even compatible with those little like beads that they have, you know?
You can't even get like videos from Apple phones. I don't think the little beads are going to work on my droid.
Claire, who's your number 12?
Gamora. As we all know, dancing is like sex, and she does not dance. She does not understand pelvic sorcery, and she's probably therefore not only kind of inexperienced, but I also just think she's not really that interested. I honestly kind of get some like slight asexual vibes from her. Given how horny Peter is around her, and she's just like not returning any of it.
All right, interesting. Kit, who's your number 12?
Funny that you mentioned Peter. Star-Lord. I love funny people, but he's a little bit of a mess. So that had to knock him down a bit for me.
It's interesting that the last 3 people have all had Guardians of the Galaxy characters as our number 12, because mine is Nebula.
Ooh.
I have to say, like, with Nebula, the physical attraction is absolutely there, but like, I'm just trying to picture it in my head. And like, I never really know when I'm going to end up running my hand over something that I think is going to be warm and fleshy, but ends up being totally metallic.
Oh.
That's a turnoff for you, is it?
Again, maybe I'm differentiating myself from the other people on this call. I also, like, kind of similar to Bucky, she's not as, I feel like, emotionally fragile as Bucky is, but like, I just know that with her, I'm only ever a hair's breadth away from a lengthy monologue about one of the many things in the universe that she hates. And like, I just got things to do, you know? Okay, down to number 13. Bob, why don't you start us off with this?
Bucky Barnes. So, for a guy who mainly communicates with grunts and mutters, I think he's probably really good at oral, but I don't think he stays the night. And the reason he's not going to stay the night is he's going to take one look at the place you are sleeping and go, too easy to infiltrate, and then leave out the window.
All right, Claire.
Black Panther. Like Bob, I think he's just kind of a sweet boy who probably wants fairly conventional sex. He's probably fine at it, but nothing special. But then again, we do know that he is really good at absorbing impacts.
That's powerful. Kit?
You've blown my mind, Claire.
Captain Marvel.
What? Sorry.
Yeah. She's got like a, I guess, mommy energy, but it's not tuned in a way that I am attracted to. Blonde is my least favorite hair color. That also was like kind of negative points. And her hair is not any kind of interesting styling.
How do you feel about fire as a hair color? Like,
I mean, that's pretty dope, but it's not her always. I mean, it's cuter when it's short. Now that it's shorter, it's nice. But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's like a little bit of a like that military version of machismo that she has. That's not my type of hard.
Sure. My number 13 is Vision. Gotta say, there's not zero appeal with Vision. Like, he's kind of like a weird robot version of Giles from Buffy in certain ways. I will say, he's going to be several steps up on this list if he is wearing a sweater vest at the time. Like, that'll definitely give him a bunch of points.
No, the sweater vest stays on.
That's right. No, leave the vest on. All right. Let's move on to our number 14s. Kit, who was your number 14?
This is where Black Panther comes in for me. I agree with everything y'all said. He's like, oh, he'd probably treat you so good, but you'd be thinking about Killmonger the whole time.
Yeah, right.
And how he might shoot you in the head at the drop of a hat.
Listen, if that was a disqualifier, there's a character up here, up on the higher end of my list.
Okay. Claire, who's your 14?
Captain America. And this is one of my big feels. So I feel like he's extremely conventional and old-fashioned in some ways. So I think that if we met and I told him I was trans, he would not know what that meant. But he would like write it down in his little notebook, and then he'd look it up online later. And then I'd see him the next day, and he'd have read a whole bunch of stuff on the topic and like be like, you know, somewhat educated on it. And then we'd have sex. He'd be sort of awkward, probably say some kind of cringy or offensive stuff once or twice, but he'd apologize when I correct him and try to be better, you know? So I think that'd be fine. And, you know, we know that when he got the combination of the super soldier serum and Vitarays, it made all of his muscles bigger. You think maybe it made some other stuff bigger?
Oh, for sure.
All right, Kevin Smith, calm down.
Is that a Kevin Smith thing?
No, but Kevin Smith often speculates about, like, whether the thing's dick is covered in rocks, you know?
I think it would be way weirder if it wasn't.
Just as a normal human. You know what? You're absolutely right. Anyway, the thing is not on this list. Captain America is, and I also had Captain America as my number 14. Claire was a lot more specific about her issues with Captain America than I am. In general, yeah, he's going to be really polite. Absolutely won't do anything that you're not comfortable with. But, like, I just don't see a lot of adventurousness with him. Like, again, that's why I put Bucky higher than him. So that's just my take. MeganBob, who is your 14?
My 14's Gamora. She's impatient and not in a gimme that dick kind of way, is very much an I've got things to do vibe. Yeah. So I'm guessing her fundamentals are fine, but I don't think you walk away feeling good about it. I think you're like, oh, I was the 15 minutes that were available, huh?
Right. Yeah, she seems like her schedule is very full at all times. Okay, so number 15. MeganBob, who's your 15?
Bruce Banner. It becomes immediately apparent that this situation is too stressful, and I think it turns into cuddling instead. I bet the cuddling is really great, but I just don't see the world in which I do not have the technology to figure out how to soothe whatever is inside his soul enough to make boning happen.
Kit, your 15?
Nebula. She would be assertive, I think, which is hot, but her eyes creep me out. And I don't like the slightly off color stripe that goes through her face. It's very distracting. Look, color swatches on a person are like, if you're gonna do that, you gotta do it nicely.
Okay.
So she and Vision need to get their
shit together. You don't want to fuck someone whose skin looks like a Mondrian.
Correct.
All right, well, modern art has been firmly pushed to the side. Claire.
My 15 is Okoye. She's really traditional and kind of serious, and I feel like she wants a soulmate.
Preferably one who, like, has a lot of rhinos.
Yes. I feel like she would relax around you eventually, and you'd get to see her, that, like, warm and playful side of her, but not on the first date when you're still kind of strangers. I feel like she would not chill and not be present during it.
I can see where that would be an issue for a casual hookup for sure. My 15 is Nick Fury. You know, I feel like this dude has some experience for sure, can, like, show you a good time in a lot of different ways, but, like, I would just be second guessing literally everything that he said. And also, like, this kind of goes back to the thing I was talking about with Bucky, where, like, every now and again I have this really strong opinion about how someone smells, and I feel like Nick Fury smells like about 100 years of cigar smoke.
You just gave me one in the plus column and one in the negative column. I'm like, a sense of fear and surprise. How delightful. Oh, cigars, boo.
Well, tell me, Bob, how you feel about your number 16.
Ooh, Black Widow. It's not bad, but it probably ranks one step above a largely perfunctory wank. Like, efficient, tidy, no frills. You're just getting the job done. And, like, I guess that's fine, but if you're bothering to have another person, what the fuck are we doing here?
Okay. Claire, how about you?
Bucky Barnes. So there's the, like, he has so much pain, but I can fix him type character. And that's good, you know, that's like half of the characters on this list, but given all the shit that Bucky's been through, I can't fix him. I just know he's going to be totally disassociated the entire time. Aww. And he's going to lie to me afterwards and say it was super great, but I know it wasn't great. He was just miles away the whole time.
Okay. Harsh but fair. Kit, you're 16?
That's so funny how those things are important to y'all. Anyway, this is where I put Okoye. I love her, but I have a really hard time seeing her as someone that isn't like an aunt figure. For some reason, like if I can like break that cool aunt that can kick some ass like out of the way, I'm like, okay, I know she'll be like powerful and sexy, but right now she auntie. I can't.
Okay, 16 is where I put Star-Lord, and this is gonna have to be one of my big feels here.
Oh, great.
So, I have real... I was very ambivalent about Star-Lord, by which I mean, like, I had very strong feelings both for and against. Because, like, you know, he's a fun guy. He's genuinely funny. He's very good looking, very athletic, all that sort of thing. Great dancer. And as Claire pointed out, if that is a metaphor for sex, then you're probably going to have a good time. But, like, I had to take a step back and, like, we see Peter Quill, like, with two people sexually or romantically in the movies. There's that pink alien woman in the first Guardians movie, and then there's Gamora. So, to me, I feel like if you were to get with Peter Quill, like, you'd probably have a fun time, but then afterwards, he's either going to forget about you immediately, and, like, you're going to end up in the hold of his ship while he gets into a dogfight, or you're going to get stalked really hard whether you're into it or not. So, neither of those things sound great to me, so I got to put him low on the list. Okay, now we are coming to number 17. Kit, who is your 17?
Okay, so I was throwing the word mommy around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This person is unfortunately Mom, Scarlet Witch.
Mm-hmm.
It's super cool. Love her. Not really like this, though. You can have her vision. Y'all good together. It's fine.
MeganBob?
Big feels.
Ooh.
Loki.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
I would crawl through broken glass to fuck that ass. But it's awful. Imagine someone that requires a fucking Rube Goldberg machine of lies and manipulation just to tell you that your angle of thrust needs adjusting. Or worse, he's outright bratty and actively negs you while you are pegging him. He is beautiful. I want to possess him. But there is a reason why it takes the grand fucking master to handle that needy bottom. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would still keep his number, and every once in a while, I would pull it out again and I would fuck him, thinking maybe it'll be different. Friends, it is not different. It is the same fuck every time. Oh, he makes me so angry and so horny, and I hate him. Okay.
Okay, well, let's give Bob a sec to stick their head in some ice water, I guess.
Oh, God.
Claire, who's your 17?
Ant-Man. As just like a normal person, I could not be less interested in Scott Lang. He just does nothing for me. The close-up magic. Just like, no, just nothing. But you know what? Growing and shrinking could come in handy in the bedroom, so I'll give him that.
Oh, God. There's a very regrettable panel from an Avengers comic that you can probably find where that's just... never mind. Listeners, if you want to find it, you can. I suggest you don't, but if you do, then God be with you. I'll share it with you later.
Thank you.
It's the worst thing. Anyway, my 17 is Iron Man. Part of, like, my envisioning for this was kind of picturing, like, what an evening with them would be like, and that includes, like, where the encounter would likely happen, and that's, like, the biggest pro that Tony Stark has going, because, like, it's probably in, like, one of his mansions, you know, there's going to be some real comfy sheets, you know, so, like, it's going to be really nice bed, that sort of thing, you know, fine drink selection, but, like, the guy, he's so into himself, I can't imagine him giving half a shit about your experience.
Yeah.
And he's also probably going to be drunk. So, like, that means
Yikes.
At best he's going to be obnoxious, and at worst he may experience some performance issues. All right, let's go to number 18 now. Claire, start us off with this one.
Nick Fury. So, I see him as being kind of a little too old to have that much stamina, probably, and kind of too jaded to care about trying to impress me at all.
Okay, MeganBob?
I put Iron Man at 18. I just think for a guy whose brain is in 12 places at once, I would guess it is better than you'd think, but that is so not saying a lot.
Bob, same. Iron Man is 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I should have declared, starting with Okoye, that everyone on the list from here on is just family energy.
Yeah.
And starting with Iron Man, it's dads all the way down. Iron Man, he just seems like a little too, like, old and also, yeah, kind of what y'all were saying. Just funny, but, like, in an annoying way. Like, God, you're so full of yourself.
Yeah.
Shut up, Dad.
Speaking of people who are full of themselves, my 18 is Doctor Strange, who I feel like is even worse than Iron Man in many ways. Like, at least Tony Stark has a sense of humor. You know, like, Strange will be just waiting to actually you the entire evening on some incredibly minor shit, and then my boner's out the window as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're really hitting the bottom here. We're coming up with number 19. Claire, who's your 19?
Phil Coulson.
What?
So, he's perfectly nice. He's nice. He's fine. He's nice. Fine. He's basically like Captain America or Black Panther in the, like, conventional thing, but without powers. And I kind of just a doughy body, and I think he might get a little clingy if the sex is even halfway good.
You're not looking to break a heart?
No.
Kid, who's your 19?
Nick Fury.
Wow.
Is he not kind of a dad? But like the dad that your mom's like, oh, just wait till your dad gets home. He's like that for the Avengers.
Yeah, your dad is waiting in the shadows for you to come home way too late.
Yup.
To say I'm putting a team together.
That's
to
right.
pull weeds this weekend.
Oh, no!
All right, Bob, who's your 19?
It's Stephen Strange. That motherfucking asshole. All right. It's fine. The best part about this fuck is how good his mattress is and how very expensive all the toiletries are when you shower afterwards. I will be putting some of those in my backpack to take home. Goodbye, Stephen.
All right, well, flush as we are with tiny complimentary lotions, I have to give my number 19 right now, and my 19 is Hela.
Oh, what?
Wow.
And
Jeez.
this is some big feels for me. Yes, and my cat is chiming in with a mew. Apparently
she's mad too.
Yeah, Hela's big feels for her too.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is like very similar to Star-Lord. I think my big feels just revolve around characters that I have strong opposing feelings about because, like,
yeah.
And yes, I realize I'm painting a target on myself by putting her in this particular spot, but like, I'm into trying certain aspects of BDSM and such, but you know she's gonna start using knives. And
all right.
I feel like this is the character on the list with whom I am most likely to actually lose an eye. And now, like, there was a time in my life when I would have literally given one of my eyes to have sex. It's called being a teenager. But those years are far behind me. And I don't feel like I need to go to those lengths. So, no, I will not be doing that. Thank you. All right, we are moving into number 20 now. MeganBob, who is your number 20?
Scarlet Witch.
Oh, dear.
Her mind's elsewhere, and she's nice, but I would feel so weird about it. I just don't want to be with somebody who's clearly somewhere else.
Okay, Claire?
Bruce Banner. So, we see in the Edward Norton film that he kind of can't without turning to the Hulk. Like, he tries to do it with Liv Tyler and has to stop. And, like, even if he got over that and could have sex, I think there would be so much angst and anxiety about turning into the Hulk the whole time that it just would not be an enjoyable experience at all for him or for me. Or alternatively, like you mentioned, it would just be, like, just a lot of crying. So,
Claire! Hulk is also my number 20.
Wow.
Yeah. So a dad.
Yeah.
Dad energy. Not my type, like, as Bruce Banner, and definitely not my type as the Hulk.
You know what? Maybe the Endgame Hulk. Let me think about this a little bit more.
I was wondering about that version when you were saying that you weren't sure about the sex being safe in that way. But, like, for me, no. No, I don't like too big of muscles.
You know what? Endgame Hulk, I think he could get it.
All right. Well, we'll have to keep that one in mind. So Hulk goes at number 20 for Claire, but with a little asterisk, I guess. Whereas my number 20 is Ultron. I feel like he's super Dom, which is, that's fine. He's cool. But, like, I just feel like he'd be way into shaming me, which, like, I'm not responsible for the fact that my body's made out of meat, dude. And, like, I'd appreciate it if you didn't make a big thing about it. And as a side note, also, nowhere on his body looks like somewhere that I would like to put my penis. It just does not look hospitable.
Hospitable.
That's fair.
All right. And finally, we have hit the nadir, number 21. Claire, who on this list do you least want to bone?
Definitely Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
He's just the worst type of selfish a-hole. He would talk such a big game, like if we were on Tinder or whatever, about how he was gonna blow my world, and then he would just give me the worst, laziest fuck of my life. And if he cared, he could use, like, the Eye of Agamotto to time loop it and, like, fuck me a million times until he got it just right. But he would not do that. He would do it once, then be like, nailed it, and then, like, peace out. And, like, no.
Okay, MeganBob, who's your number 21?
Star-Lord. When did you last change your cum-encrusted sheets, you piece of shit? I take one look at that bedroom and I'm like, I am leaving. You are disgusting. No, thank you.
Kit, who's at the bottom of your list?
The dadliest dad, Phil Coulson. He's nice. He'll want to take me to a ball game and I'll be like, I don't like baseball. Sorry, Dad. I think us hanging out, even though he's nice, I don't see anything happening, even maybe friendship-wise. I don't know. He's nice.
Man, not even friends. Oof. Yeah, I just imagine you being like, oh, no, I'm not really into it. We can still be well, you know what? I'll see you around, bud.
Wow.
My number 21 is the Hulk, because I don't want to take my life into my hands. So,
Hulk smash?
No, he will not. Not this building, I guess. What are things that Hulk usually... Not this abomination. There we go.
Oh.
All right, let's take a second to take a shower, which is apparently something that Bucky never does.
All right, and now we will work our way up through our top 10 until we reach our number 1 spot. Starting with our number 10. Kit, who is your number 10?
Gamora. I think I agree with everything else, that she would be, like, kind of distant but man, whatever. You know, when a girl fight that good, it's going, okay. I'm guessing the mic picked up that sound.
Yes, it did.
It was a good sound.
That's all I gotta say. Okay, the one other thing I gotta say is I really want to teach her how to do her eyebrows because I can't handle, like, they stole her eyebrows, and that's, like, the only thing I don't like about her look.
Kit, I also had Gamora as my number 10.
Aww.
Because, like, yeah, I agree. Athletic, the physical aspect of it would be, I think, fantastic, but there is absolutely no cuddling afterwards. Like,
oh God, no.
You are getting kicked to the curb, clutching your balled up clothes over your genitalia within maybe 1 minute of completion.
Claire, who's your number 10?
Ultron.
Okay.
Okay. So when he's fighting the Avengers, he's a one-man army.
Mm-hmm.
That means when he's fucking me, he's a one-man orgy.
Oh.
Wow.
I am slightly more curious than I am afraid.
All right, my number 10, Phil Coulson. All right, I mean, sure, he calls you Steve once. But, like, when he comes, he does look at you like you're an original signed Captain America poster from 1944. And I think the sex is probably about an A+. I mean, I don't think it's going to blow you away, like, in terms of how beautiful he is. But, you know, that's fine. Dan, who's your number 9?
So my number 9 is Scarlet Witch. I think this could be fun. You know, I think it would be a good time. The only con I could really think of with her is that I would almost certainly die horribly in a way that was specifically designed to make her feel really bad.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she cursed.
I hadn't thought about that.
Claire, who's your number 9?
Iron Man. So, I feel like the dude has probably just had more sex than anyone else on this list. So, I think he knows what he's doing. If he decides to apply himself, that is, you know. Like we have discussed, I can very easily see that sometimes he's not going to give it his all. You know, you might get some drunken crying about Pepper mixed in there. But, like, if you get the time where he's, like, focused, like you're a problem that he's trying to solve, you know? So, it's going to be a roll of the dice, I think.
Kit, who's your number 9?
Black Widow. I think she has a lot of things in common with Gamora, but she has eyebrows. So, you know, just imagine all the like cool ballerina / spy athletics that's going to be coming in that bedroom. But then, yeah, you got to leave after you're done. You got to leave like right away.
For number 9, I have Nick Fury. I think he fucks like he knows exactly what he's doing. And I also like he's not afraid to change, you know, a plan on the fly for better results.
Wow. Yeah, sure.
All right. Kit, number 8.
Oh, here I am getting ready to explain myself. Doctor Strange.
Whoa. All right.
Look, you can just say looks like Dan.
That is definitely one of them. That's one of the reasons why I think Benedict Cumberbatch is so damn gorgeous. Also, he looks like an elf. Fucking come at me. I'm right. You're right. He's going to be really full of himself. But I kind of imagine that people who are like really in charge in their kind of day-to-day out of the bedroom life probably enjoy being told to shut up in the bed. And so if he starts to get all like, you know, himself, I think he would actually kind of appreciate
a strong hand.
Yeah.
You are selling me on this spanking Stephen Strange fantasy. All right. I feel 1 percentage point more horny for Stephen Strange than I ever imagined I would feel. All right. Dan, who's your number 8?
My number 8 is Captain Marvel. I have to say, I find her confidence extremely attractive. I will say, I don't think she's as ridiculously fun or charming as some of the other people that are on the upper end of my list, but like, I just put myself in the shoes of someone who's like in a bar. I look down and I see her looking at me and giving that kind of like smirk and the knowing glance, and I'm done. I'm like, yep, that's it. See you guys later.
Claire, who's your number 8?
Loki.
Okay.
So, if you accept the comics canon, he's the only gender fluid character on the list, so that's worth a lot of points. He's got like the magic and the illusions and the kind of gothy brooding, but he's not higher on the list because I personally just have way less of a boner for Loki than everyone else. And it's not just that he's a dude, it's like, he just seems kind of greasy to me, and he has kind of like an inferiority complex, and he's just kind of not my deal.
These are all reasons I badly want to fuck him, but do not want to fuck him. Although, number 8, I do want to fuck his big sister, Hela. Okay, I get it. Technically, being used as naked living furniture isn't sex, but when it's her, it's not like you're not walking away satisfied. I'll take that. That's fine, Hela.
You might not be walking away, is the thing.
Yeah, I might not be walking away. I would be crawling away. I'll die right there. It's fine. Whatever. God damn, she's so beautiful. All right. Number 7. Dan, who's your number 7?
My number 7 is Okoye. And to be quite frank, the only reason she's not higher is because I'm actually afraid she might literally break me in half on accident.
That is a real risk. Claire, who's your number 7?
Hela.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. We know.
She
would be basically what everyone said, you know. She would be extremely, like, bossy, very specific with her requests, by which I mean demands.
Yeah.
She definitely would not care about getting me off, and I would be afraid for my life the whole time. There would be knives.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, all of these various factors are not necessarily cons.
Yeah. Kit, who's your number 7?
Captain America. He's conventionally attractive. Not really like my type, but also not unattractive. And he's so sweet and could definitely bench press me. And like, I think the sex would probably just be like missionary all the time, but that's fine. I like a romantic little fuck.
Some dancing before?
Oh yeah, I love a little slow dance.
All right, my number 7, Nebula. Like, sure, you're sore in places you didn't know could get sore, and probably bruised in places you don't want to talk about, but you're keeping that number on speed dial. Like, Nebula. All right, number 6. Kit, who's your number 6?
Bucky, I want a fucky.
Yeah!
Look, he lost a lot of points when he cut his hair, but other than that, like, I totally agree that he's like not gonna be there. But who cares? He's strong.
On one side of his body, he's very strong.
Yeah.
In case, by the way, listener, you ever had a question as to what it is like to watch any MCU movie or Falcon and Winter Soldier with Kit, it is that.
His actor's also Romanian, which I'm like, yay, go Romanian prize.
Yeah. Claire, who's your number 6?
Big feels. Black Widow.
Oh?
So look, she's an acrobatic super spy. She seduces people and has sex with them in like a professional capacity. And she was trained intensely in terms of like all of the stuff a spy needs to know how to do. I imagine there was something that she was taught under that umbrella. I don't know what it's all going to entail, but she probably knows how to do some weird and wild stuff. So I feel like she's sort of, in a way that's sort of obvious and almost kind of boring, clearly just one of the best people on this list at having sex, but given how hot she is, and given how good she is at acting, this is like the reason why she's not higher on my list. I would not be able to get over the fear that at any moment she would reveal that she is actually here to assassinate me and then put a knife in my back. And like, I think this says more about my confidence than it does about her as a person. But like, I'd just be thinking, why else would this person be having sex with me? Clearly she's here to kill me. And I feel like this fear would detract from my enjoyment significantly. So.
I'm going to go now just for sheer contrast. My number 6 is Ant-Man.
Okay.
I think he's the fun guy who is good and doesn't know that he's good because he's never, like, he doesn't have enough confidence to actually think he's any good. I think that he sets out to do a good job, and I think that goddamn he does every single time. Scott Lang, you're adorable. Dan, who's your number 6?
So I was not expecting to either put this character as high as they ended up, nor was I expecting to be the person who put this character the highest on their list. But my number 6 is Phil Coulson.
Aww.
I gotta say, like, I don't think this would, in terms of fuckability, I don't think this is going to be, like, the most exciting sexual encounter in history. But, like, he has kind of Cap's general level of respect and, like, genuine interest in you, while at the same time actually being reasonably experienced, which Cap doesn't have. And I don't know, I just, like, this would be a good time. Like, I would enjoy this in a way that is kind of uncomplicated. You know, like, it's just, like, very straightforward. I'm like, yeah, this would be nice. This would be good. So, is that as high on a strictly fuckability rating as it should be? Who am I to say? This is just how things came out.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep picking on you, Dan. Who's your number 5?
My number 5 is Ant-Man.
Aww.
I have to say, there was a version of this list where Scott Lang was my number 1.
Tell me all about this. I am very interested.
I mean, I think he's a cool guy. I think he'd be a lot of fun to be with. I think that in a lot of ways, he's kind of like the purest and most wholesome character on this list. Kid and I sat down recently and we learned that, as far as we could tell, Ant-Man is the only person of the like major characters of the MCU who's never killed anyone on screen. So, I don't know. I would just like really enjoy being with him, I think.
Dan, Ant-Man is my number 5.
Hell yeah.
Do we need to have a little
sweet.
Ant-Man threesome?
I guess him and Gamora, because we also matched up there.
All right. Okay, I feel like when Claire put Scott Lang as low as she did, I was like, oh, it's so opposite. He's like, he does basically everything for me. He's funny. He looks like Dan. He's sweet.
If anyone's not seen a photo of Dan, they're just going to start saying like, okay, picture of Jake Gyllenhaal, picture of Benedict Cumberbatch, picture of Paul Rudd, and then you just kind of like put him into those face melting things, and somewhere between all of those, that's Dan's face.
That's about right, yeah.
Yep, basically. Yeah, and yeah, he's sweet. He has ant friends. Look, he's just great. He's charming. I like him.
Claire, who's your number 5?
Captain Marvel. Look, we're supposed to not take, like, gender into the equation that much, like, most of the time. But at the same time, like, I'm a queer chick, and you meet another queer chick, you have similar, like, political feelings or, like, that sort of stuff. You can just vibe, you know? And, like, that's sometimes all the foundation you need. Just this cool, like, drunk rock and roll chick. We talk for, like, a couple minutes, and then we immediately just click, and we go back. And you know what? She's kind of competitive. She has something to prove. Higher, further, faster, you know?
Yeah, all right. My number 5 is Vision. I think he has no idea what he's doing, but absolutely delighted and fascinated the whole time. And that is charming. Number 4, Kit, who's your number 4?
Ultron.
Oh my God, Kit, I also have Ultron at 4.
What the fuck, you guys? I thought I was the weirdo for having him at, like, 10 or whatever.
Claire, why do you think he's on this list to begin with? It's because of those two.
Some people were pushing for him, I guess. All right.
Kit, you want to tell us about why you want to fuck this robot daddy?
Wow.
Okay, first of all, this is not the first robot where I've looked at them and gone, oh shit.
Yeah.
But then they gave this robot extremely good voice. What is the actor who plays his voice?
James Spader.
Yeah, Spader. I don't remember what he looks like, but I bet he is very unattractive to me, but his voice in a robot. I don't know. It's not a big feels. I'm just big feeling internally about why I like robots so much. I don't know.
Well, I am blowing my big feels on Ultron.
Go it.
Okay. Methodical. Like, imagine being taken apart piece by piece. I don't think you feel loved. I definitely don't think that. I think you definitely feel thoroughly and completely fucked. And there is something utterly fascinating about someone who approaches you with, like, the meticulous indifference of a Swiss watchmaker, which I didn't know that was something I wanted until Age of Ultron came out. And I gotta say, I don't even care that we have to turn his dick over 3 times to get it in like it's a fucking USB port situation. That is worth it to me.
A thing I forgot is he would have been higher for me if I wasn't like a little afraid that this was all just a scheme and I was going to die. Because why would he want to fuck a human? But
you are going to be his next body. He is going to upload his consciousness into you.
Worth?
I know. I'm sort of like, that's not a deal breaker necessarily.
It'd be worth just take me out in the best way.
I think you guys need to reevaluate your standards. Like, there should be certain things that are deal breakers, and surrendering all bodily autonomy to a possessing robot is maybe one of those things.
Oh, a possessing robot with a really good voice.
Yeah, Mr. Judgy Pants. All right, who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Thor. As far as I'm concerned, all the best parts of Tony Stark, except that he can actually handle his liquor, and, as Claire mentioned, he is a god, so, like, if anyone's narcissism is well-deserved, it's him.
Claire, who's your number 4?
Scarlet Witch. Just being real. She's just her aesthetic, just everything. I have bought clothing to, like, match things I have seen her wear, and just her style. Like, I would like to look like her and everything, that's a thing. But then I watch WandaVision, and she's so wifey in a really nice way. I want her to look at me the way she looks at Vision. And then she can do that thing where she melds with your mind. Like, she does that to Vision, and, like, when you fuck. Or she does that thing where she, like, gave everybody nightmares in Age of Ultron. But what if she did that, but good? And you had, like, the next level, like, psychedelic dream fucking.
True. Well, we have arrived at our top 3. Dan, who is your number 3?
Loki.
Okay.
Hot, great dresser, has some cool magic and shapeshifting powers that I feel encouraged to get creative with. The main drawback that I feel with him, and this seems to be a similar thing with a lot of these characters, I feel like when I wake up in the morning, he will have stolen something, or turned me into a cow, or just something. Like, I just feel like I'm inviting a lot of trouble into my life. But number 3, nonetheless, so more the fool me, I guess.
Claire, who's your number 3?
Vision. Look, we've seen how he handles trying to make food for Scarlet Witch. It went badly. We saw that he just phased through a wall, and they were like, Vision, you can't just phase through walls. You have to, like, knock and use doors. He's like, well, the doors, like, he's gonna fuck stuff up at first, right? He's gonna do it bad. But he is just gonna be so sweet about it.
Yeah.
And he's going to be so eager. He's going to be so willing to learn, and he's going to be so good at listening and be great at incorporating feedback that I would be willing to teach him how to be good at sex. I would actively enjoy the process of teaching Vision how to have sex. I think that would be that would be fun and a cool thing for us to do together.
Aww.
That's beautiful.
All right. Kit, who's your number 3?
Thor. Now, there's a lot of things that I'm not into. Like, so I'm not super into the beefy boys. Very masculine, not into beards. And he cut his hair recently. But he's fun and sweet and fun, damn it. And he can definitely bench press me. So
you have a very interesting checklist, Kit. It's looks like Dan can bench press me. Is a robot question mark.
Is a robot? You beat me to it. Maybe that's why I like Bucky. It's like a little part robot.
Oh my god. My number 3 is Carol Danvers. I think, like, Captain Marvel, the sex is out of this world. But I think the absolute best part, the part that sets my bisexual heart on fucking fire, is that you get to roll over in bed and she peeks out at you from her messy hair and says, "Hey, sleepyhead." And I fucking, Claire, I heard you gasp. I fucking die at that thought, and I want it so bad. The things I would do to have it.
Bob?
Yes?
You know how to get me.
I feel you. I feel you, sister. Oh my god.
I hear that Bob is open to commissioning some fanfics if you're interested, Claire.
Okay. We'll keep this in mind.
I will write some filthy ass shit. Number 2. Kit, who's your number 2?
Hella goth goddess mommy.
And how are you handling the many knives?
Gimme.
Yeah.
I'm noticing some Asgardians at the top of your list, Kit. That's interesting.
All right, Claire, who's your number 2?
Now y'all are going to come at me. Y'all are going to get real mad. Star-Lord.
Okay.
Ooh,
No, I want to be
mad.
sold.
I'm
Okay.
intrigued.
I have heard in various internet forums and things I've seen women discussing the best fuck of their life. And I have heard a certain story happen from people where there was some guy, he was kind of weird looking. He had a shitty apartment. It smelled kind of bad. There was a mattress on the floor.
Yep.
And then he just gave them a dicking so good that they never forgot it. And looking back years later, with every other partner they've been with, it haunted them. And they were just like, that guy? That fucking guy? But yes, that guy. And that guy is Star-Lord.
Shit, you're not wrong. The math checks out, and I'm real mad about it.
I assume that's got to be why someone like Gamora stayed.
Exactly.
All right, Dan, who's your number 2?
I feel like the world's biggest simp for picking this, but Black Widow is my number 2.
Okay.
I mean,
Claire touched on a lot of this. She's hot, she's flexible, she's darkly mysterious. I saw that scene in Iron Man 2.
Yep.
She put some red in my ledger, is all I'm going to say.
My number 2 is Okoye. I'm just putting money on it. I don't think that the Dora Milaje necessarily train in how to use a strap-on, but I think she is probably a tactical genius at it.
The use of the spear, yes.
And now, number 1, the person we most want to fuck. Claire, who is your number 1?
With an enormous bullet, it's got to be Nebula. So, I hadn't thought much about Nebula in a sexual context before we started doing this list, but then I thought about her for 3 seconds, and then instantly my heart exploded, and I realized she had to be at the top of my list. She is clearly, from the way that she acts, especially in Guardians 2, Endgame, that kind of thing, extremely starved for touch and emotional connection, that if you get in bed with her, she is going to be ravenous. Think about how she first reacts when she plays the little football game with Tony Stark. And think about how when she tells Gamora she just wanted a sister. In another world, she would have just been the sweetest, playful, affectionate, loving person ever, but Thanos, turned her into this killing machine, but she wants to be that other person. She wants to go back, and, she wants love. She needs it, and I would want to be the one to give it to her. That wall will break, and she will transform. And I'm sure that at the end, she will say the same thing that she said after playing the little football game. I would like to play again.
Oh my God, my heart. Claire, you got me. All right, Dan, who's your number 1?
My number 1 is Black Panther.
Oh, wow.
The dude is majorly athletic and flexible. You feel like he has some experience. He's got this animalistic side to him, but at the same time, he's emotionally grounded and stable. So you're not going to get any freakouts. He's not going to start monologuing or try to destroy the world or something. He just seems like he can take care of you. You can probably have some really good conversation before, during, and after. And again, one thing I was thinking about is, what does this evening look like? Where is this taking place? Now that Thor is living in a cabin in Norway, Black Panther absolutely has the best bachelor pad. Absolutely. Best food, best view, best accoutrement, best, furniture. He's, S rank in every category.
I like that deep down, a little bit of you is looking for a sugar daddy. Just a little bit of you.
I won't turn down the wealth of the world's most powerful nation. I'm not too proud.
All right, Kit, say the thing. You're number one.
Here's my big feels. It's Loki. Now, here's the thing. I actually kind of got into Marvel Comics, like as the comics, because of MCU's Loki. I was really feeling this character that Hiddleston was giving. And Dan was like, hey, I know some good Loki comics I think you'll really like. And I read those and I became fucking obsessed with Loki because, as Claire mentioned, Loki is fucking gender fluid, at least the way Al Ewing writes them. And goddamn every fucking Loki writer after that for not keeping that up. But Loki means so much to me in so many ways. His color scheme is like my favorite color scheme. I'm okay with the mischief. Okay, I'm tapping out. I just can't. The feels are big, even though the character isn't perfect and it's gonna be a mess. It's worth it. It's worth it, and like my heart cares on a different level.
I get this. Well, you can have that, brother. For my number one, I'm taking the other one. Big feels. It's Thor. I get it's gonna be kind of like fucking Mr. Peanut Butter from BoJack. Like, it's not that it's perfect or even, I don't even think it's like necessarily the best that you've ever had, but I think he's completely delighted by the chance to make you happy. And it is going to be Viking Odes levels of intensity, but it's also goofy and giggly at the same time. And I think at breakfast the next day that he does silly voices for the condiments and tells you about the valiant battle of the syrup against the hot sauce, and you're just instantly in love. I just think you couldn't feel anything else for Thor.
Wow.
Go Asgard.
Yeah.
Go Asgard.
And now we turn to... Let's unpack that. Where we get to ask some probing questions like, why? And what were you thinking? And will you send me your fanfic? I will start us off. Now, Dan, you put Doctor Strange but 1 point higher than I did. And I feel like that is entirely higher than Doctor Strange deserves. Why on earth would you say that? Well, how could you put him above Hela, Ultron, and the Hulk? Explain yourself, sir.
Because in all three of those cases, I feel like there is an escalating chance of me getting physically maimed. And for all of Doctor Strange's quirks and drawbacks, I don't think that me losing a limb is necessarily on the table.
He can put it back, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and also, like, let's think about like where this encounter will be happening. In Hela, it's going to be literal hell. Like, it's going to be the land of the dead. There's going to be a bunch of skeletons watching us.
That's fucking metal.
With
Dan,
Ultron,
I don't understand yet what part of that is bad.
With Ultron, it's going to be like, I don't know, like an abandoned church under Sokovia.
Oh.
And
While a bunch of robots watch you. Yeah, it's great.
Keep going.
With Bruce Banner, it's going to start off in like a rusted out train car in the middle of the desert. And then all of a sudden I'm going to be hurled into space. So all I'm saying is like Doctor Strange has a nice brownstone in Greenwich Village, and maybe I'll get to pet his cloak, you know?
Aw, I didn't even think about how cute his cloak is. I'm putting higher.
Also, I would like to hang out with Wong. I do feel like he's a good guy. I kind of wish we had space for him on the list.
I would fuck Wong 1,000,000 times over before I would fuck Stephen Strange.
Same.
Yeah. Wong, you're too good, too pure for this world. All right, Claire, take it away.
So, Kit, looking at your list, you have Hela at number 2. I can support that, right? Goth mommy.
Mm-hmm. A goth goddess mommy.
Goth goddess mommy. You have Scarlet Witch at number 17.
Because she is not a mommy, she's a mom.
Like, I don't see how there could be that huge of a disparity. Like, she has the pain similar to like Loki in a lot of ways, you know, like the baggage she's been through, am I a monster? Am I like all that same junk? She's got the magic, she's got the aesthetic, like
she has a cool outfit, but like she still brings this mom energy to it.
How dare you? Moms fuck too. That's how we get babies most of the time.
It's fun. I know that people still have like sex as they get like older and have children and stuff.
As they get older.
She's Elizabeth Olsen. She's so hot. Like I don't.
She's fine. She's not really like my type like Hella is.
Who is older, Kit, between Elizabeth Olsen and Kate Blanchett?
But that's not the energy that the characters give off now, is it? I'm telling you the difference between mommy and mom. One is definitely a mom and was wearing all them mom clothes in WandaVision. And then there's Hella.
Scarlet Witch is not mom. Scarlet Witch is wife. She has wife energy.
Yeah, that's fine. She's not my waifu, though. I'm not going to fight for that waifu.
All right, fine. You can't even with you. Jesus.
All right. Kit, who would you like to start a fight with?
Let me see. Since Claire wants to bring it, how dare you put Ant-Man so damn low? You think he's got nothing?
Sell me on him.
What did I just say? He's like funny and he's sweet, and I'm sure you have no interest in people who look like Dan, so I'm gonna leave that out.
You are correct.
But he's funny and he's sweet, and he got Aunt Franz, and you don't really care about that either. But I'm like, God, you put him so low.
All right, like it's so hard for me to like hypothetically work out attraction for dudes. I have to like go through so many like mental things of like hypothetical situations of like trying to recontextualize this person and like.
Do you want to know who female Scott Lang is?
Who is female Scott Lang? Sell me on this, Bob.
Okay, female Scott Lang, like, was in a really high-powered degree, dropped out of college, was like, fuck this, works at a convenience store, skateboards, and then, like, picked up shoplifting skills and then gradually better and better thief skills, but still skateboards on the weekend and, like, wears a hoodie.
You have my attention.
And she's funny and sweet.
Yeah.
She likes bugs.
You know, it's funny. I am just a straight up lesbian, and you two, being the like bi/pansexuals of the group, it's like you can translate the language, you know?
Yes.
Like you speak both languages. Yeah.
I do. I speak them.
Okay, so Bob.
Yes. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, Dan.
I feel like the one I have to unpack is Bruce Banner at number 15.
Okay.
Like, everyone else's picks, I had Hulk at 21, Claire and Kit each had him at 20, you had him at 15. Meaning, you found the mental picture of you trying to do the impossible edging balancing act that is having sex with Bruce Banner as something you would rather do than have sex with Black Widow or Loki or Scarlet Witch. And to say nothing of Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Star-Lord. Opinions are more broadly mixed about that. But how is Bruce Banner that high? Like, at some point your survival instinct has to kick in, right?
Oh, Dan. Baby, honey, I'm a monster fucker. That doesn't scare me. Like, does that mean that it's going to be hand jobs? Yeah, sure, fine. But, like, I'm not scared of fucking the Hulk. That's fine.
Bob loves sadness and danger, and there's both in him.
All right, shall we hear the final aggregate scores?
Let's get it.
Oh, please.
Oh, I'm so curious.
So, the character with the most consistent scores across the board is Gamora.
Okay.
Who got a 10 from me and Kit, a 12 from Claire, and a 14 from MeganBob. We had several characters with very wide gulfs between them.
I think Star-Lord, right?
Star-Lord has some very wide swings. So does Phil Coulson, thanks to me. Scarlet Witch, Ultron, obviously, Black Widow, and Loki all had very wide gulfs. There were a couple of cases where someone had them in their number 1 or number 21 slot, and then there were a bunch of people that didn't, like Black Panther for me, for example, or Iron Man, who was very low on everyone's list except for Claire, and Doctor Strange, who was very low on everyone's list except for Kit. But with all that in mind, we come now to the final list, aggregated. At number 16 is the Hulk / Bruce Banner. Number 15 is Doctor Strange. Number 14 is Iron Man. Number 13 is Nick Fury. Number 12 is Phil Coulson. Again, that's entirely me.
Doing the Lord's work, though.
That's right. Number 11 is Star-Lord, and that's entirely Claire. Number 10 is Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, just Star-Lord, that's me, so, like, what's the, like, Spiders McGillicuddy guy is, like, the outlier and should not be considered.
Oh, Spiders George.
Spiders George, whatever, yeah. I am Spiders George when it comes to Star-Lord.
Eats 10,000 spiders a year and should not be counted.
Yes.
Oh, man. Very good.
Anyway, carry on.
So, in a 3-way tie for number 9 is Captain America, Bucky, and Gamora. In a 2-way tie for number 8 is Black Panther and Okoye. Number 7 is Ultron. Number 6 is...
Surprisingly high, but I guess we're a bunch of weirdo monster
shockingly
fuckers.
high.
So, yeah. 3 out of the 4 of us are weirdo monster
Not
fuckers.
high enough.
Number 6 is Hela.
Hell yeah.
Number 5 is Nebula. In a 2-way tie for number 4 is Black Widow and Ant-Man, the 2 bugs.
Aww.
Number 3 is Vision.
Hell yeah.
In a 2-way tie for number 2 is Loki and Captain Marvel.
Oh, wow. I know what this
different
means.
characters.
And taking the number 1 spot is Thor.
Aww.
The most fuckable character in the Marvel universe.
That checks
the Marvel
out.
Cinematic Universe. Which means our medium character for fuckability is a tie between Black Panther and Okoye.
Okay.
All right.
Miles did a little magic last time to see which one we were less divided on as like a tiebreaker.
Oh yeah, I can look that up.
Sure.
We are less it's close. Ooh, it's very close. The scores are more consistent for Black Panther, but Okoye has more high scores, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure what Miles's criteria was.
Whoever has the smaller gulf in our differences.
The more clustering.
Yes,
Okay.
the clustering.
That's when we feel the most middle about, was his...
In that case, it's Black Panther. Because Okoye has like 1 high score, 2 medium to low scores, and 1 high-ish score.
Okay.
But Black Panther has 1 very high score, and then 3 kind of medium to low scores. So I think Black Panther is the most consistently ranked. So I guess in that case, Black Panther is our median.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Weird that he's the median, you had him at number 1, but
I did.
I guess that means that, before we went into this, we were talking about doing this, and doing it with Dan being on this in this podcast, but like none of us really, except for presumably Kit.
I like presumably.
Presumably, I mean, I would not want to assume about what Dan's sexuality is like. Like, I think that MeganBob and like Miles asked at one point, would you feel comfortable doing this with Dan? And I was like, I grew up in a house with Dan, and his sexuality is a black box to me. I have
protects
no
it.
idea.
Keeps it secret, keeps it safe.
He is the least horny on main out of all of us. So, Dan, I feel like this is good. I feel like we learned something about each other. I never knew if there was going to be weird secrets, and like you're kind of a normie, and that's fine. That's fine.
No, Phil Coulson was a weird secret to me. Put him way high.
Here's the thing. I am very straight. And like Claire, I had to adjust for my lack of pansexuality for this. So the degree to which my own sexual preferences are reflected in this list is in the same way that my body would be reflected in a funhouse mirror as seen through a kaleidoscope. Like, there's some element of truth there, but like, I was trying to adjust for a lot of my own limits of perspective, shall we say. But you're right. Like, there wasn't zero amount of truth to what I said.
Yeah, Dan and Claire, you really tried very hard to consider all of the gender that you're not into.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the advantage that Kit, you and Bob have, is you don't have to like twist your brain into weird knots to think about what it would be like. But
yeah, just don't give me peepums, because I'm not fucking pretending like I like people.
All right. And now let us take a second and think about the fuckability rating for this universe of the MCU. Out of 10 boners, how fuckable is the MCU? All right. Claire, how fuckable is the MCU?
I'll give it a very begrudging 6. I was gonna do 5. But just because, like, they're very complicated. There are no characters that escaped unscathed, pretty much, that we were all like, yeah, that one's just great. Like, and we all agree, it's all a mixed bag, and there's a surprising lack of sexuality on display in the MCU. I saw a really great article about this called something like Everyone is Beautiful and No One is Horny, or something like that, where in many ways the canon stuff that we see on screen, perhaps in large part because Disney is in charge of this thing, is like violence is okay, but it's surprisingly like sexless a lot of the time. And when there is like, kissing or whatever, it's like very chaste in a lot of ways. Ugh. You don't really see a lot of like really horny people in this. But yeah, everyone is really hot, and there's a lot of weird, as we've seen, potential for weird dark stuff in here. So I will give it a begrudging 6.
All right, Kit.
This is out of 10?
Yeah.
Yes, out of 10 boners. How fuckable is the MCU?
I'm going to say 10.
Oh, shit. All right. Man, you were going to give it more, weren't you? You were like, I'll find some extra boners.
How many boners you got?
I mean, they got robots and Dans and goth mommies.
All right, Dan, out of 10 boners, how fuckable is this universe?
And Romanians, Kit, let us not forget.
We got one little token Romanian.
I feel like I have to just give this like a 5, like straight down the middle, because it's the sort of thing where like all of the major characters in the MCU are basically the same character, because like this is what you get when you start off your universe with Iron Man. It's like everyone is this like kind of snarky, like smartass who's like real cocky, but is sort of like damaged secretly inside and like has a lot of angst and is also really buff and conventionally attractive. That's like 80% of your characters.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you are into that, then this universe has a lot to offer you. But if you're not, it's just like real samey. So yeah, I'm going to give this one a 5.
Ooh.
And that is part of why I'm going to give it a 6, because I am enough into that to enjoy it, but not more than that. So a 6 out of 10 boners for me.
That leaves us with a final fuckability rating of 6.75 boners. And I'm not sure where this 3/4 of one boner came from, but
that's from me.
That's from you, huh? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, some questions are better left unasked, I guess.
I was making a robot boner and I had some leftover stuff.
And now we look around this imaginary table that we're all at and say, what did we learn today? Claire, what did you learn today?
I learned that I guess my older brother does have a sex drive, theoretically, but I have only viewed the distant reflection of it through a hazy funhouse mirror. But like, sure, like when we say we've like discovered distant stars, really you're just like receiving radio waves that are converted to an equation that you then like run through a computer program and it prints out like a hypothetical model of what it would look like. Like, I feel like I've now gained that much understanding about what's inside of that black box.
Scientists are even now working to find out more.
Isn't it for the best that you don't see it more clearly? Because you don't want this to be like a Lovecraft situation where you can't unsee it and you lose sanity.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't. I'm good with this. I think that's fine.
You don't want NASA to go in and recolorize the picture. All right, Kit, what did you learn today?
I think I learned something about myself.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like I was the Bob in this episode. I had some outliers to explain. I thought this was such a great horny universe. And you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad this felt like a very different episode for me than the Lord of the Ring ones. So,
Aww.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Dan, what did you learn?
I've learned that there are only two genders, and that those genders are people who are attracted to Scarlet Witch and people who are attracted to Ultron. Because I'm looking at this list, and that's the way the numbers say it.
Hey, both of them are in my upper half.
Genders and not sexualities, Dan. My gender is robot fucker.
That's right.
I mean, that's what the doctor said when I was born.
Assigned robot fucker at birth.
You know, I look back over my list and all I can think of is that I really, really wish I could have put Star-Lord even lower. And I wish I could have had a threesome with Carol Danvers and Thor. That would be the fucking best bro sex ever.
They would totally high five while spit roasting you. All right,
They
sorry,
would
that
absolutely high five. Claire, they wouldn't stop high fiving. That would be the problem.
You know, looking at my list, I realized that I think I like to take care of people in sex.
Yes, you do.
Wow, that's interesting.
Man.
Aww.
Lots of discoveries here tonight. Well, listeners, we hope that this has inspired you to point your own horny Hubble telescope into your own heart and see what distant galaxies lie there. But until next time, this has been Smash Fiction Presents Hard Choices, so stay hard.
Hard Choices is produced by MeganBob. Our theme song is Funk Me by Soundroll. This piece and all music used in this production is licensed through Uppbeat. You could find details in our show notes and listen to more great tunes at uppbeat.io, uppbeat.io. The Smash Fiction logo is designed by Claire Mulkerin. If you'd like to get into touch with us, look for the Smash Fiction Fan Faction on Facebook. Thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. You're a peach!
I think it's fine to think about characters from this list who have appeared in shows with that perspective because, you know, they're primarily film shows, but we get to see more of them in the TV shows.
It's the same universe, so...
Yeah, we just don't want to bring in, like, Daredevil or,
no.
someone like that.
Oh,
Anyway,
Dan,
okay.
Are you saying we don't want to bring in Jessica Jones? Because she wouldn't be at the top of certain people's lists if we did.
That's fair.
Also,
listen,
Luke Cage would do very well. Now that I
look,
think about
this
it.
list is long enough as it is,
Okay.
and we don't have enough time in the world to talk about how much we don't want to fuck Danny Rand. So let's
If I
move
spent
on.
the rest of my life talking about how much I don't want to fuck Danny Rand, it would be a life well spent.
Absolutely.
That reminds me, there was this thing I saw on Twitter from a while ago. There was a woman who was getting a tattoo on her rib cage, from like a really like attractive kind of gothy lady with like a bunch of piercings and tattoos and stuff all over her. And as she was going over like the ribs with the tattoo, at one point she kind of like let out like a little moan of like pain. And then the lady who was tattooing her said, "Good girl." And then she just like was like vibrating and like about to die of like the, oh my God. And like,
oh my God. I wanted a girl with a septum piercing to tell me good girl now.
Wow. This has been Smash Fiction Presents Hard Choices, so stay hard.
Hey, what if I got another sign off? What about fuck off?
Okay, sure.
I don't know.
We're only on episode 3. Who knows?
Yeah.
We're still trying things out.
I like that.
Till next time, fuck off.
Oh, man. Oh, that was fucking beautiful.